Hello and welcome to my final showcase of the Horus Heresy Siege of Terra books and maps, and we've got the Horus Lupercal bookends either end of the series. This is all of the books in the Siege of Terra series. There are 13 books, 10 core books and 3 novellas. I've put the 3 novellas over to the left side of the collection, and then I've started, of course, with the Solar War. Now, before I go into the detail with these books and things, there won't be any spoilers whatsoever, and I've turned comments off because, well, let's face it guys, people just can't be trusted. I will say that what you're looking at right now would have cost me £530, so £500 there, which is about $670. Each book is about 20. There's a couple that cost me 18 and there's a couple that cost me 22, so I've just put them at a mean of 20. The maps are all £40 each and the bookends are £70. So to start off with, we have the 3 novellas, and they are in order of their release as well. You've got The Sons of the Selenar by Graham McNeill, Fury of Magnus by Graham McNeill, and Garrow, Knight of Grey by James Swallow. Out of the 3, my favourite is Fury of Magnus, but it also depends on kind of where your loyalties and where your preferences lie with Garrow. I will say that Garrow is the shortest out of the 3 novellas, but my favourite is the Fury of Magnus, and if you've read any of the other Siege of Terra books and you haven't read Fury of Magnus, I implore you to pick that up and read it, because it's one of Graham McNeill's best. It's one of my favourite Siege of Terra, I say novellas. It's one of my favourite stories. It's very, very good. So please do check that one out. Then moving on, we've got the Solar War, which is the first book in the Siege of Terra series. It is a great book from John French. It really set the tone for the entire series, and again, it's one of my favourites. Some of the other books later on kind of lose themselves. There's just so much going on, isn't there, in this this conflict, that they introduce new characters, and I just think, well, what's the point? That some of the character stories just aren't wrapped up as well as you might imagine. But then again, you know, as I say, this series has been going on for at least 16 years or so, so it's a long time for people to be invested in these characters and have their emotional investment kind of rewarded. That the hype and the expectations are so high and lofty after 16 years that I don't think any kind of stories would be able to meet those expectations. So we must understand that these authors are doing the best they can to give you that reward. You've got the second book in the series, The Lost and the Damned, by Guy Haley. Then you've got The First Wall, which is actually probably my least favourite out of all of them. Then you've got Saturnine by Dan Abnett. You've got Mortis, which of course is one of my favourites because it has a lot of Titans in it, and covers the main sort of Titan battles. That's a very rewarding novel. Warhawk goes through Mortarion and the Death Guard and White Scars and Jagati Khan. You've got Echoes of Eternity, which is pretty rewarding, with Sanguinius. You've got The End and the Death Volume 1. I did find that quite a long book. It's one of the longest in the series, I think. I think the longest is is the Volume 2. Yeah, The End and the Death, again, lots of stories going on. I just prefer books in general that follow one narrative and go through the whole book with that kind of one story, rather than flipping from one to another. And this whole series kind of does this, except for the Fury of Magnus. At least if you know this before you go into this series, then you kind of know that you'll be flipping about for different stories. So I really would suggest not kind of reading any other books while you're reading these. So just start from the Solar War and read through them. And it also massively helps if you've not read the other 54 Horus Heresy books, but if you've read them kind of in the last 2 years and you kind of remember some of the characters like Sigismund and Khan and Abaddon and Zephon and even some of the civilian characters that pop up in a few of the novels as well, it really does help, you know, get the most out of this particular series. With the release schedule over the past few years of the Siege of Terra books, I don't think that was too long of a wait between books. Definitely the End and the Death, between the End and the Death Volume 1 and 2, there was quite a big gap, but definitely between Volume 2 and 3 there's a much shorter gap, which is fantastic. That leads us on to the 8th, 9th and 10th book, which are just named the 8th book, but different volumes of the 8th book. I don't know whether they could make an 8th book. I think that book would be massive if it just had all the volumes in one. I'm not sure. Maybe they could, but it would be, you know what, 2,000 pages or so. Well, in its current size. Maybe they could shrink it down and make it paperback. They are making all of these in paperback. I wonder if they'll have a sort of smaller format than what we've had. Congratulations to anybody that were able to pick up the all of the Siege of Terra books in their, you know, sort of limited special edition form. You know, great. They've been hard to pick up. Would I pick them up in their limited edition form? I'm not quite sure. I think it works for like one-off books, or books that you've owned before in paperback and you wanted a nicer edition. But to have all of these in a special edition format and being able to pick them up, because I don't think you could pick up Garrow, Fury, Magnus and Sons of Selenar in special editions. I don't think you could. I'm not sure if it's worth it, you know, in terms of novels themselves and how memorable they are. But what is decent are the maps. I've got the 5 maps there. There is a 6th one which covers the solar system, and it's just got planets on it really. It's nice looking, I guess. I was a bit late to the party in getting that one, but I was able to pick up the other 5. But I'm just happy that I was able to pick up the other 5 when I could. And then the bookends as well. Lovely bookends. I think they really suit the series and complement it well. When I first picked them up, I didn't realize they were released quite early on in the series, and there's no way that I ever would have imagined that there would be so many Siege of Terra books that would warrant a pair of bookends, and well, they do. So very nice bookends. I'm pleased I picked them up when I did. They were quite pricey, but a great addition to the series. This is one of the maps. This is just the Defence of the Lion's Gate. As I say, these would normally set you back £40, and if you haven't watched any of my map unboxing videos, then why on earth not? But you get this very cool solid steel, I think, kind of, I don't know, ribbon marker keeper, I don't know, but yeah, these maps are upside down. These are absolutely beautiful. So they are kind of cloth maps, and they just beg to be framed. I've got a few of them framed in my house, and I think they're gorgeous. Lots of beautiful artwork, and it really just puts an image in your head of you know, the scale of the Imperial Palace, you know, from when you're reading the books. Just absolutely gorgeous maps, these. And there you go. That was my final look at the whole of the Siege of Terra series, books, maps. It's been a fantastic journey. Thank you to everybody that has you know, been here from the start and supported the channel. If you have enjoyed this video, you're welcome to subscribe, give it a like, so that many more people can enjoy it too. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.